Y'all, this is Sierra, aka Capricorn Moon Goddess. How are y'all today? I just had to get on here because these karmics out here, and when I say karmic, I want y'all to understand I'm using it in its realest form, meaning somebody that you had a toxic relationship with in a past life has met up with you again in this life and you're back in some sort of entanglement with them, okay? Most of the time it is a romantic relationship, but these karmics out here really think spirituality is a joke. I was just sitting in my bed thinking about a reading that my friend did today, and she let me know, like, your name came up in this reading, and I forgot what she titled it. Should I go to YouTube? Let's see. Let me share her video real quick. Let me see if it'll let me do it. Um cuz I don't remember the name of the video. Let's see. StreamYard, share screen. Give me a minute. Give me a minute. Okay, y'all. So y'all see this? It's titled "They're Not Laughing Anymore." Okay, let me stop sharing the screen. It's they're not laughing anymore on the Afro Zen's channel. So if y'all saw that I was doing a reading earlier, if y'all watched that video, y'all saw I had got a notification. It was from her. So anyway, I'm just sitting here because I watched her video, and she was really just pointing out how the karmics really thought it was a joke. And I was just sitting here thinking about how my ex really did take me for a joke, and he took spirituality for a joke, and he really didn't realize how serious I was taking it. So he is the catalyst that got me onto my spiritual journey. So I wasn't necessarily into spirituality when I met him. I was going in that direction, but he's the one that really pushed me into finding answers and learning. I ended up stumbling upon tarot and all that stuff. And the first reading that I got was about him. Um, because throughout my studies of spirituality, I came across this term karmic. Karmic, what is a karmic person, right? And it was talking about how you are in this relationship with a person. And like I said, it does not have to be romantic, but for the most part, it is. So you're in a relationship with this person. They may not even be like your typical type of friend or your typical type of person that you would date. But for whatever reason, when you met this person, you felt really drawn to them, like a strong, magnetized type of thing. And it was like almost as if you knew this person, but you didn't know this person, but y'all have such a magnetic draw towards each other. But it's also a very toxic relationship at the same time. This person is constantly doing things to push you away. They're doing things like ghosting you. Typically, it's one thing that they do in particular. My situation, the person kept ghosting me over and over again, but they're doing things like ghosting you. They may even be abusive. Um, there is something that they're constantly doing over and over and over again to you. And really, what they're doing is mirroring or letting you know that there is some sort of internal thing that you need to work on. So, for my case, the ghosting situation led me back to having daddy issues and issues with my biological father not being around. And then my stepfather ghosting us essentially when my mom divorced him. So for the most part, they're doing one particular thing. They're doing a lot of things to you, but there's one thing that really stands out that they do over and over again. And it's very toxic, and it's drains you of your energy. And you know that you should not keep dealing with this person, but you are drawn to this person. But just as much as you're drawn to them, they are drawn to you as well. It's not necessarily a one-sided thing. Um once you decide to leave this person and remove your energy from this person, they do feel like they're depleted. They don't know what to do because they're like an energy vampire. So they're drawn to you because you're like a power source to them, but you're drawn to them for other reasons. So they're drawn to you because they're using you basically. They need you for something. So I was learning about the karmics and I was like, that sounds right. I am like so drawn to this person. It's like magnets. It's like, and the passion is really, really strong between you and this person when y'all get around each other. The feelings are very strong, very heightened. That person can touch you and you can feel like just electricity flowing through your body. They can look at you and you can feel like so drawn to them. The passion is up times 10. And so I was like, okay, yeah. And I remember my sister was telling me about this guy. She was like, that's not even your type. Like, you, like, what's so special about him? Like, I don't understand what is so special about this guy that you cannot, like, let it go. Like, come on now. And I was like, you know what? What is so special about him? I don't know, because he ain't even really my type. So it's somebody that you're just drawn to and you don't even know why. So as I was learning about that, I also learned that it has something to do with a past life as well. So more than likely, this person was in your past life with you. Most likely, it was the same type of scenario where they were doing the same thing to you. And in that past life, you all never resolved that issue, or you never learned your lesson, or they never learned their lesson. So you all came back onto this earth and met up again because y'all have to pass this lesson, learn this lesson, whatever. So I realized, okay, these karmics are connected to past lives and they're connected to lessons and they're connected to something internally that's going on with me that I need to address. Shadow work. I started learning about shadow work and all that. So then my friend asked me, did I want to go to, I'm not going to say the name of the place, but did I want to go to a psychic fair at this particular place? And I was like, okay, fine. And I was looking for somebody who could do past life readings. And I found an Akashic Records reader who I still go to till this day. So I got a reading from her and she told me, yes, he is karmic. Y'all had a past life together. He was actually a black cowboy, and him being black is significant because, you know, you don't hear a lot about black cowboys, but that also kind of gives you a time frame. I forgot the time frame. She told me the time frame, but I forgot what it was. I want to say the 1800s, but I really don't know if that's correct. She was like, he's a black cowboy and you were unmarried, and he would like almost like a truck driver, like modern day truck driver, where he's going to multiple different states, multiple different areas. And she was like, he had a family in every state he used to go to. He had a family in every city. It was that kind of situation. And he would always come back to you. You would wait. He would go off, do what he wanted to do. And then you would be waiting on him and he would come back to you and act like he wanted to commit, but he never committed. So you spent your whole like life waiting on this person to commit to you, and they never would do it. And you basically died alone. Like, you didn't get married. You didn't have nobody else. You literally waited on this person. And I was like, so he was ghosting me back then too? Oh, wow. But guess what? I'm not waiting forever for him in this lifetime. That's what we not about to do. So as I'm getting readings on him and doing readings on him myself and all that, I'm telling him all this. So I was like, yeah, you're karmic and you was a black cowboy in the past life. And he would just think it's so funny. So he would be like, oh, I was a cowboy, huh? Like, he's totally ignoring everything I'm saying, is like feeling like good about himself. Like, yeah, I was a cowboy. Hey, look at that. You know, like, just thinking everything is a joke. And I remember one time I got a reading on him and I had an attitude, and he called me and I had an attitude and he was like, what's wrong? I was like, I just got a reading on you. And he's like, still taking it as a joke. Like, most people would be like, well, most people will get mad. Like, how you gonna get mad at me because you got a reading on me? How you know that lady telling you the truth? He wouldn't get mad or anything. He would just think it was funny. Like, Well, next time, tell me before you get a reading so I know to tread lightly. Like, he just thought it was so funny. And I was like, you're a narcissist. And I know that word is overused, but when I tell you I dealt with real life narcissists, I'm not overusing it. He thought it was funny. Like, oh, you think I'm a narcissist? It was almost like, yeah, like it was a compliment. Like, oh, you think I'm a narcissist, huh? He just thought everything was funny. And I remember one time I was doing a reading, like he came over and I was like, I cannot continue to do this with you. You're a karmic. You're holding me back. You're messing. I'm trying to elevate spiritually, all of that. And he was like, do a reading on me right now. I do a reading on him. Of course, the devil card comes out. I'm like, look, the devil card is here, sir. And he was like, give me those cards. Let me do the reading myself. So he went and did the reading himself. And of course, he got all good cards. But he just always took everything as a joke. Like, whatever, I'm going to do a reading on my own self because you don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're doing. I bet you I could do it myself. He thought everything was a joke. He thought spirituality was a joke. He didn't realize how serious I was taking it. Although I would be telling him, like, I'm going to leave you eventually. It might take me a while. So we would be on and off. We were on and off for like 5-6 years. It was a long time. But towards the end, I would say the last 2 years, that's when I was like really into spirituality. So he really just wasn't taking me serious when I was saying, like, I'm going to leave for good and I'm not ever coming back, because we broke up so many times, but eventually, like, we always came back to each other. So the last time when he tried to get back with me, it got to a point where he basically started trying to pay me to come back. Like, because there was a point in time where I did get an allowance, so he would um send me money, because he had this thing to where he was like one of the most successful people in his family. So everybody always asks him for help. Everybody always needs him to give them money, invest in things for them, this, that, and a third. Also, that brings me to something else. Hold on, pause. He saw that I was trying to get my business off the ground, and he just took that as a joke. Also, he would tell me how he's investing in everybody's businesses, but he never like offered to invest in my business. He never bought anything from me. He would do things like, he knew that I really like essential oils. So he would like tell me like, oh yeah, I bought my mom this expensive essential oil case. It can hold like 140 something essential oils in it. She was so happy about it. And it was like, he would like tell me certain things that he was doing for other people because he knew it was something that I would want done for myself. However, I'm not going to ask you for nothing. So he wanted me to ask him for things. So he would tell me stuff, I guess, to try to get me to be like, well, why aren't you doing that for me too? But I never would. I have my reasons for not doing that because I saw my dad use money against my mom. So, I'm never trying to put myself in a situation where I need to depend on a man. So, eventually he was like, how come you don't ask me for stuff? Everybody asks me for stuff. I be telling my friends and everybody, like, this girl don't ask me for nothing. Like, why you don't ask me for stuff? And I would be like, well, why you don't just offer to do stuff for me? There was something about him to where he needed you to need him. He needed you to ask him for stuff. And I was like, I'm not going to ask you for anything, but as a man, if you see there's certain things that I need done where you could step up, whether it's monetarily or anything else, why you don't just do that? Like, yeah, my dad would use stuff against my mom, but he never made her ask for stuff either. It was like he just showing up on Valentine's Day with a card, like, happy Valentine's Day. She went over there like, I want you to buy me a new car. So I'm not about to ask you for nothing. And so it got to a point where I was like, look, if you want to send me money or whatever, then you need to just do it. Like, just send it to me on Cash App because I'm not about to ask you. So we had that situation for a while, but it was basically towards the end where I was ready to go anyway. So I ended up leaving him. So whenever he wanted to come back, he would be texting me like, oh, well, how about I just pay you to come back? How about I give you this X amount of money per month? Like, how about I just come back as your sugar daddy then if you don't want to be in a relationship with me? Like, it was just like, yeah, you want my energy back, huh? And there was one point where he told me, I get energy from you. They gonna tell on themselves. They're always gonna tell on themselves because they're cocky and they're conceited. He told me one time, I get energy from you. He also told me that his friends wanted to know why he didn't get me pregnant. Like, basically, like, you should have got her pregnant. Basically, okay, she want to act like she trying to leave, then why you didn't trap her? Okay, that's your fault because you didn't trap her, basically. So like, men be having these conversations, they try to act like women are the ones that try to trap them with babies. No, ma'am. No, sir. It's a lot of men out here that will tell you to your face they want to get you pregnant. Okay, they see you as a receptacle to have their children and to extend their bloodline. And a lot of the times these days, they just flat out telling you. So he felt comfortable enough to tell me this. And he's telling me this as if it's his decision. Like, the men think it's their decision. Like, well, why you didn't just get her pregnant? Like, what? Isn't that a conversation that needs to be had? Like, you can't just go around just doing that, like, because you feel like it. So it got to a point where now you're trying to do things because you know I'm about to be out the door, and you thought it was funny, but it's not funny no more. Now you want to pay to come back. Now your friends telling you should have got me pregnant, basically meaning I had to be stuck with you forever, okay, or at least until our kid was 18. That's a good way for them to have access to you without having to commit to you, because you got to see them constantly because of this, the child in the situation. um yeah, so my friend was basically, her reading was saying like, they not laughing no more. They didn't take you seriously. They thought you would always be there. They thought they was going to be able to get you back. And for me, it has been 3 years and I have not gone back. I have been abstinent for 3 years. Literally, I was so traumatized that I was like, I just need to get off the dating scene and I just need to be abstinent, because to be honest with y'all, when it is a karmic situation, you're gonna have to cut sex off from that person. Like, it is, honestly, I'm gonna be real with y'all, and I don't talk about sex and stuff like that, but it's a part of karmic relationships. If it's a romantic one, the sex in that relationship is probably going to be like some of the best that you ever had, some of the most passionate. um and it's designed to be that way because um the passion has to be so strong in order to keep you in the situation long enough to realize there's a problem and that there's some internal things you need to work on. If it wasn't as strong of a passion, because like I said, most of the time it's not even somebody that would necessarily be your type, you might leave a lot sooner if the passion wasn't as strong. And the passion is strong because you also knew this person in a past life, okay? So that's the two reasons why the passion is very, very strong. So you're going to have to cut off sex with that person. You're going to have to cut off access to that person. This person will probably try to get you back for the rest of their life. They going to constantly keep texting you. Like, 3 years can go by, they still gonna text you, hey, I was just thinking about you, what was you doing, how you been. They gonna try to give you money. They're gonna try to do everything they can to get you back, and it's, and everything they do to get you back, all the nice stuff they do to get you back, they're gonna stop it as soon as they feel like they got you back under their thumb, okay? So they're going to take you as a joke. Karmics are going to take you as a joke. They're not going to take you seriously. This is also can be very dangerous situations, because once they realize the joke is on them, and once they realize you're not playing, sometimes they try to take you out. And y'all know what I mean about that. sometimes, because like I said, the attraction is so strong, and it's not just you that needs to be doing work spiritually, it's them that needs to be doing work spiritually. And most of the time one person is doing the work and the other person isn't, so they're not learning their lesson even though you are. And when you're ready to break away from that relationship, they're not ready to break away from it. A karmic situation, in my opinion, is not meant to last forever. There's people that will debate on that and say you can somehow make a karmic relationship work. In my opinion, I do not feel like you can make it work. I feel like you're going to have to separate. And if you do not separate, when you reincarnate onto this earth again, you're going to meet that person in a whole nother body. Another way you can kind of know that you were in a karmic relationship is, let's say you do try to take a break from that person, but you're not necessarily doing the work to heal yourself, and you start dating somebody else. Well, that new person is going to do the same thing that karmic person was doing to you. You're going to keep running into the same people in different bodies doing the same exact thing because you didn't work on healing and learning the lesson from the karmic. So if you seem to be meeting the same person in different bodies, that could be a sign that you were in a karmic relationship with somebody. Okay, most likely you know who that somebody is. This is not necessarily going to be something that you're not sure of. Like, you gonna know. A karmic is not somebody that you just argue and fight with, or you have like this is somebody that causes a lot of trauma, trauma, devastation. However, you feel like you still can't separate from that person, and you could be the baddest thing walking, and they could be like a 3. You could be a 10 and they could be a 3, and you still are drawn to this person and you have no idea why. They could be a karmic. And a lot of the times they're not going to take you serious. But when you leave that person, they can feel when your energy is gone. Even though you can physically leave a person, they can feel that you energetically have not left them that, and that they can get back into your head. Once you energetically and physically leave a person, a karmic, they're going to stop laughing, and the joke is going to be on them. And what I suggest is that you do not meet up with this person, you do not talk to this person, because like I said, it can become deadly because they are obsessed. They're obsessed and they're going to stay obsessed. So don't take it as a sign of they are wanting to change or that they really, really love you, because they won't leave you alone. They're not going to leave you alone. As soon as something good happens in your life, like right before something good happens in my life, my ex always reach out to me. He has become a sign that I'm about to get a blessing, and I bet not mess it up because I'm being tested, because oh boy is reaching back out to me. Okay, they're not going to leave you alone. They are obsessed. Please do not confuse obsession with love. Obsession is not love. Them not leaving you alone and being a stalker, that is not love. That is them being obsessed. That is them feeling entitled to your energy. That is them being an energy vampire. That is them not knowing how to move forward. They will tell you that they have tried to replace you too. My ex would tell me, hey, I can't find, like, I be trying to date these other women, but they just not like you. Like, the energy is not the same. It's just not the same. They'll tell you that, but they still won't act right though. They still won't act right. So they don't want you back because they love you. And most of the time they have some type of trauma that they have gone through as well, that is preventing them from being able to be a good partner. My ex had some trauma that happened to him in his relationship or his marriage. Yeah, that could be the reason why he doesn't trust women, or he doesn't want to give a certain level of commitment, because he was betrayed in his marriage. But at the same time, I ain't Bob the Builder, and I'm not the cleanup woman, and it is not my job to suffer for what somebody else did to you. So do not allow these people to let you suffer, okay, for what somebody else did to them. You may be a healer and you may be empathic, but it is not your job to heal them. They need to work on healing themselves. They might come and try to tell you they've been to counseling too, because my ex tried to tell me that, and I think he's lying. I think he's lying. I don't even think counseling will work on those type of people. Because in their mind, they're right. They don't care what nobody else is saying. They ain't gonna care what that counselor got to say. So what I love to tell him is, I'm glad you're doing the work. I'm glad you went to counseling. I'm glad you making yourself better for the next woman, because this woman right here is not coming back. Joke is on you. So y'all, I just had to go on this rant because I was just thinking about it after I watched that video that my friend did. So I just thought I would come and tell y'all, because I don't got nobody else to tell. I'm sure my family and friends are tired of hearing this story. So anyway, thank you for taking the time to listen to this rant. If it resonated with you, please let me know. Please like, share, and subscribe, and have a great rest of your day. Toodles.